I think it's always a big game when UConn Tennessee plays, regardless of era, time, where it is. So it's always a big game. And I think, they attacked us really well. They went at us one-on-one and challenged us defensively. And I think that's what cost us the game.
Paige, they really took you out of rhythm there for the first three quarters. What were they doing the most to you that you felt like was the most challenging to get around until the fourth quarter?
Nothing really. I feel like it was more myself, taking myself out of rhythm. Shots were short. Should have attacked more, got to the free throw line a little bit. Yeah.
You guys got out-rebounded pretty handily in that third quarter. Just what did they do that made it so difficult for you guys on the boards especially?
They crashed the boards really hard and we didn't box out like we're supposed to, not pushing them back, and they were flying everywhere, not really watching where they went. Just not boxing out very well.
Paige, I know this is your 5th year. Are you thinking of going pro next year after this season ends?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Paige, what do you just take from this loss? That you guys have a quick couple of Big East games before you go back into your non-conference play against South Carolina.
Just how much tougher we have to get, and it shows up in rebounds and on defense, and the differentiation and fouls, free throws attempted. So just how much tougher we have to get.
I know you said earlier this week that you felt like Kim was a hire that was going to stick. Just what are kind of your impressions of her in her first season, especially after going up against her tonight?
Well, watching them, obviously they have a style of play that's a little bit different than what you normally see, and I think anytime you can be different, I think that sets you apart. People have to prepare for you a little bit differently than they do for everybody else. It's unusual for somebody to, sub, 5 players, 4 players at a time, and I think it takes some getting used to, and the way the game is. You have to keep your composure against them, and I think she does a great job of forcing you to adapt to them, and except for a 3-minute or 2-minute stretch there in the third quarter, I thought we handled it great. The pressure wasn't an issue, but that's the beauty of playing like that. Is you just need a couple minute spurt and it can change the game. So certainly it's much more difficult to play down here than it was the last 3 or 4 years. And to win in these environments, you've got to have you got to have tough, mature players to be able to handle this.
You said earlier this week that you like having these non-conference games in the middle of your conference season to kind of see how your team kind of compares to other teams outside of your conference. What did you just learn about your team today, despite the loss?
I think we've talked a lot about the perception that when we play a really good team on the road, you need contributions from your best players, and it's hard if you don't get that. I thought Sarah and KK were great today. KK learned a lot today. She grew up a lot today. This is Sarah's first environment in a non-conference game like this. She's only a freshman. I thought Aubrey gave us, some great minutes. So I think we found some things that we can build on. The rebounding we knew was going to be a problem. You know, we play with our small lineup so often. So we got to fix that. That's been an ongoing thing all year. Because it was pretty even at halftime. Yeah, but the bottom line is, you know, we have some players on our team that are supposed to be our best players, and they got to play better. That's all there is to it.
Paige has had trouble getting going, it seems like, in a few of these bigger games now. I mean, just what do you feel like is kind of the block with her in terms of being able to start as hot as she has in Big East play?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a real kind of conundrum, you know. Paige wants the ball in her hands all the time. Then when they trap her, she don't want the ball in her hands. So now we try to get her moving from, you know, one thing to another, moving without the ball, and you know, it's so-so. So we've got to come to some sort of definitive thing here, how we're going to handle it. But right now, it's not the winning edge for sure. And passing up stuff, you know, like I don't get it. I really don't.
Coach, this is a really good shooting team, and the 5 of 20 from the arc is surprising from UConn because you shoot so well. Was that misfires by you, Tennessee's defense, a mixture of both? What was going on at the arc?
Some of them were probably ill-advised, you know, or rushed. You know, I thought, like Aubrey's pass to Sarah, that was theoretically a 3-point shot, which I don't know why she even took it, but it ended up being a pass to Sarah for a layup. So some were really ill-advised. I thought most of them, we had pretty good looks at all of them, and we just didn't make them. And we normally do, like you said. You know, when you look at the stat sheet, points from turnovers, 24-19 UConn. Points in the paint, 42-42. Second chance points, 12-11. Fast break points, 26 for UConn, 14 for Tennessee. Bench points, 26 for UConn, 20 for Tennessee. You'd think we won the game, huh? But that's not really, you know, indicative. Stat sheets lie a lot to a lot of people because there was big plays that had to be made, big stops that we had to get, a big bucket that we have to make, and crucial points of the game, and we didn't make them. And you know, when two good teams are playing, that's the difference maker.
Going back to KK, this is only her second time playing in this kind of an environment, including Notre Dame. Just what's impressed you the most about her ability to stay poised and to stay kind of just to jump in when you guys need her off the bench with that energy?
Yeah, it's a little bit comforting, I guess, to know that you're bringing someone off the bench that started 30 games or something like that last year and started in a Final Four game. And so it's not just your average bringing somebody off the bench. And so I think she's a starter that just happens to wait before she gets on the court. And she's getting a better feel for herself, what she wants to do. Yeah, there were a couple things she did today that make you scratch your head. But I thought she was the most competitive player for UConn today. And I think that means a lot to her. And I think getting more comfortable making perimeter jump shots, I think will help a lot for her. But I like what I saw out of her tonight.